Hey guys, GHAZZY TV here with a Diablo 4 build video of tier listing Necromancer builds for Season 4. Now, I'm going to walk through them and give a couple of comments around the builds and describe why they are the way they are, and to avoid wasting people's time who are just looking at this video to find out which is the builds that I think will be the top performers. I'm just going to go from the top and walk it down. So, first off, Shadow Minions. What does that mean? Well, Shadow Minions is essentially you making it so that your minions are doing shadow damage and up triggering the Shadow Blight key passive. That is the main source of approaching this build, and I think that will be the best performing minion build in Season 4, if not the meta. What are the pros and cons of this build? Well, it completely destroys the entirety of leveling. There's going to be a leveling guide posted as well on Ice Events. I am the one who makes all the Necromancer guides on Ice Events. Do check the links in the description. Besides that, I think that the Shadow Minion will be better than the Golem building. Golem Minion build. Simply because the Golem Minion build is in a similar position, but it's relying on the Golem walking up to the targets, smacking it, and then going to the next pack of enemies, smacking it. And that's always been a problem in the ARPG world when you're doing a minion build that relies on one big boy minion compared to having an army. Because you have what I would refer to as area coverage. With an army, you're hitting the majority of your screen at all times when needed, instantaneously, especially if you have ranged minions. Whereas a melee, one big unit doing your heavy lifting of your damage output, you are essentially a slave to the time frame that it takes for that minion to move to attack range, and then attack, then your damage is applied. So it's kind of like delayed, if you will. So that's why I take on the Shadow versus Golems. I do believe the Shadow version will be significantly better. That's why my guide is updated accordingly for that purpose. It also is using a Golem for that matter. I think that it's going to be insane to play. I'll very likely be league starting or season starting it. Bone Spirit, however, is pretty cool with the new aspects. Like, really cool. It's insane. It requires quite a lot of things to make it work. I don't think it's going to be a comfortable build to play up until then, but till then you can play anything else you want. And once you have the requirements of the essence sustain of it, it's pretty cool. But it feels more like a super bossing build more than a comfortable clearing. It's a bit of a niche playstyle to it, but it's actually really cool. But the performance, it's up there. And moving on down one step a tier, I think that the classical Infinimist build is going to be absolutely insane. It performs in a similar way as before, and it's just comfortable, except that now we have other builds that's going to be performing better, hence the step down in tier. Blight itself, I think, is going to be the better Shadow Minion build. Sorry, not Minion, Shadow Necromancer that is not an Infinimist. I believe that it will perform significantly better than Sever, which is why that's in a lower tier. Summoner Men Down build, I'm a little bit on the fence here. I might put it down to a B tier. And the reason for this is because this is a way for us to make the Bone Mage skeletons cast Bone Spears. Theoretically sounds insane, by the way. We're going to use Men Down to trigger every 6th attack. We're also going to use Deathless Visage so that the Bone Mage skeletons, Bone Spears will trigger Deathless Visage effect. That's crazy. But the problem is keeping them alive, which is exclusively handled through Bonded in Essence. When they're casting their abilities, they're going to take damage. So we need to keep them up. This means that the uptime is going to vary quite a lot as they will every now and then die off. And you have to then, instead of buffing with the skill, you're going to have to resummon them, which means that you're resummoning them rather than casting your own Bone Spears. So the kind of like DPS up is going to be a little bouncy. So I'm not sure how well this performed until we actually get to play it in launch now on Tuesday. Speaking of Bone Spear, classical Bone Spear build, I would place on a solid B tier list. Simply because it's just not falling behind the performance-wise on the ladder compared to these other builds I've been talking about. It's nothing special outside of that, to be fair. Sever is in a similar position as the Blight, except that it will be doing less, have a less performance compared to Blight. And this has to do with the way Sever is requiring to be designed to play compared to how Blight operates. It's all about Shadow Blight key passive nodes anyways, or those triggers, and Blight will have a better way of handling that from the designs that I've made. Bloodlands and Blood Surge. To be fair, Blood Surge is, like, I've been getting a lot of help by the Blood God himself, Mr. Garm, when it comes to these two. And the confirmation that we've been talking about is that Blood Surge is essentially giving you a stupid amount of defensive layers, so much leeching, like, you're not going to die, but neither is the enemy. You're not going to do much damage, which is a big problem for both of these builds in terms of performance. You can be super tanky, but if you don't have the damage, you're not going to move anywhere, and you're going to have a bad time playing the build. Obviously, we'll keep a keen eye on these and see how it moves forward, but that is why they are currently for the season at the very bottom of my list. So yeah, like I said, I don't want to waste you guys' time, and to avoid wasting mine, and if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe for more content, and I will catch you guys in the next one. So till then, stay safe, keep rocking.